So I thought that we would work on one-liners, and a lot of times people ask me why one-liners. And just like blind contour line drawings, one-liners are a good way to just get a little bit more motivated. And then the problem is, what do we do with these one-liners? Well, you can use them just for practice, but every once in a while, there's more you can do to it. This idea comes from artists like Picasso and Klee. Both of those artists used one-liners all the time, and of course now they're famous one-liners. But they used them to study and just to get an idea of how to do things. So there's two ways you can do this. One way is to actually look at the object that you want to draw. So a cat, a lion, a vase of flowers. I like to do vases of flowers a lot because they're easy, and it's okay. They're going to come out again a little wonky. I call them wonky, or a little different, but they're a lot of fun. And so I thought that we would start. There's different ways to do it. Today I decided that instead of looking at the subject, I'm going to work with my imagination and just kind of think of what I think they look like. And I thought we would do lions because everybody likes lions. And so what I want you to do is just grab a ballpoint pen and your sketchbook or just some paper. Because you are going to use a lot of this, you might want to just use some regular typing paper or sketch paper that you have, and then I'll tell you what to do from there. So, from my imagination, sometimes I do them with my eyes closed. Those come out really abstract, and I like that, but I know that most of you don't. So today I thought that I would just draw from my imagination. Now, one-liners are you put the pen or pencil down. In this case, we're using a ballpoint pen. I like black because we're going to thicken them a little bit later, but you can use whatever you want. And I like to work big. All right, now I'm going to show you different ways. Some people like to do 2 or 3 on one page, and some people just like to do 1. So I'm going to show you both ways. So basically, I'm going to use my imagination. What does a lion look like? And once I put my pen down, then I'm not picking it up again. And again, it's going to give you that quality that is a little bit different. So I'm going to start with the eye, and I'm going to keep going and maybe do the nostrils, go back up, and you want to work kind of fast. So there's the eye, and this one's going to have eyebrows, and you want to work fast. I'm going to go the shape that I think that a lion would have. Okay, and then I'm going to start with the mane. Keep it simple, not too much to worry about, and I will show you what this one turned out like. Maybe some whiskers, and that's it. We're going to call it a day on this one-liner. Okay? All right, and I'll show you what to do from there. I do these one-liners again just to get a little bit of practice before I'm going to do a big project. And I have pages and pages of them. This one's of cats. And then I was thinking about this taping, so I started doing lions. Again, these are from my imagination. I like them when they're a little bit bigger, but you do them any way you want. Some people like to do just 1 per page. Some people do 2. It's up to you. And here's another one from another sketchbook, okay? And so you see there's a lot of them. So what to do with them? Well, today we're going to pick one, and we're going to enlarge it. And there's 2 ways you can enlarge it. You can put it in a copier. Like, I'm going to work with this one because I think it's simple and it's really good. So I tried redoing it, and it was okay. It wasn't great, but it was okay. And then I decided I'm just going to make a copy of it. So if you have access to a copier, use the copier to enlarge it. I have it enlarged. Now what am I going to do with it? There's so many different things you can do. But one of the exercises that I learned in the class I took was using thick and thin lines. And you're just going to love this. So what are you going to use for this? Well, you need something thick. So you can always use a Sharpie. Now remember that Sharpies do go through your pages, your papers. So you might want to put some papers underneath. And then, or you can use, my favorites are the Prismamicrons. And they make this one, this is a brush, and it's just what it says, it's a brush. Or they have bigger ones that are called graphics. This one's a graphic 1, there's a graphic 2, and a graphic 3. So I always have these on me. So these are great investments. They're about $3, $2.50 to $3 a piece, but they're good to have around. But if you want to do the project and you don't have these, you can use a Sharpie. Okay. So today I'm going to do this one a little bit both, the Sharpie and the Pigma brush. So what am I going to do? Okay, well the first thing I can do is I can add shapes. So for this one you want closed shapes instead of lines. Okay, so I'm just going to add maybe the outside of the eye, maybe the nostril. Okay, now with these beautiful lines what we can do is we can make them thin and thick. I always think of it as a stained glass window. So the iron part is melting. Okay, that's how they do stained glass windows. So here's I thicken that line. I'm going to thicken this line. I'm going to try to get rid of the angles like that. Okay, and that's with a Sharpie, and you can go back and forth with that until you have some thin and thick lines that you like. And I'm going to show you how that works with this brush pen. So this is pretty cool. I'm going to do an eyeball there and maybe thicken this like that. Okay, and right here where you have a bunch of small shapes, you can just thicken them and maybe just darken them all like that. So you'll have minimal amount of shapes. Okay, and so on. Okay, so I don't want to bore you. You see how I did that? This is the ending. Let me show you one that is finished. I kind of like this. I reduced them so that you could see how to do it this way. That's what I started with. Okay, and then there it is. There's some thick shapes and even more thick shapes, and that's what it looks like when it's finished. Okay. All right, now what do we do with it when it's done? So the first one was you want to leave some white space. I always say that no matter what you're coloring, you want to leave a little bit of white space. It's kind of like breathing. You always want a little emptiness. I did these with watercolors, very, very mute, very light watercolors, but you can do it with whatever you have around, crayons, color pencils. So that's the first layer. Now we're going to add more layers and maybe a little shading. If you like to shade, then go ahead and do that, okay? Or if you want to just color it lightly, these are Prismacolor pencils and they're really waxy, so they work kind of like a crayon, but you can still see the layer underneath, okay? I'm going to stay with these colors. You can go as bright as you want. So once I was done with this, and I didn't do it all in one sitting, okay? Sometimes I like to get to the point where it's just a black and white, and then another day I'll just pick up some colors, and then another day I'll finish it by adding detail to it. Okay, so there we go. And notice I left a little bit of white. Once you are done with your second layer, you can add some detail. And there's the detail. I added some lines, kind of like to mimic the mane. Okay, I did a little green. I thought that there was too much warm color. And of course, this is a copy, so copies never come out as bright. And then my final thing that I did was I added some lines to it. Okay, there's so many things you can do. You can take, if you have one of those white pens, you can put polka dots in here. You can leave it like this. Now it needs a background. I think I would probably maybe watercolor it. This kind of paper is kind of cheap paper, so I might redraw it again on watercolor paper and finish it that way. I'm going to call this one done, except for the background, but we'll do another study of how to add backgrounds another time. These were just some ideas. Nothing is written in stone here, so you can change them any way you want. The whole idea, again, behind one-liners is to get you to use your creativity. And some of the students were saying that their pages were filled with one-liners. What do I do with these? What can I do with these? So that's why I wanted to show you what I like to do with them after you have a lot of them. Try those ideas, see if you like them, let me know how they work out, and I think that's it for now. Okay, bye-bye.